Mini-episode 1070 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by Sportsology, delivering unconventional columns and webcasts about sports, TV, music, movies, and more. Follow them on the web at sportsology.com.
The FDH Lounge. You want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
Welcome to FDH Lounge Mini Episode 1070. This is FDH Managing Partner Rick Morris here with our spoiler-free Season 1 review of the great show Counterpart on Starz on the eve of the premiere of Season 2. If you've never watched the show, here are our 5 key points. Number 5, it's the story of two parallel worlds that exist, complete with bizarro world editions of each person's life, and is set in Berlin, which contains a portal to the two sides. A secret experiment during the Cold War in 1987 went awry and led to two worlds that were identical in the moment and diverged immediately thereafter. The world that was created subsequently experiences a crippling disaster that powerful governmental elements blame on the original world, fomenting mistrust in a delicate diplomatic element. Number 4. The show is anchored by the performance of the great actor J.K. Simmons, who portrays the two central characters, Howard Alpha, a schlubby beta male bureaucrat in the original world, and Howard Prime, an edgy, macho spy in the world subsequently created. Howard Alpha works for a governmental agency that monitors the separate world that was created, although he is not among the few employees who are privy to the secret of the separate world. In essence, he doesn't know the full function of his own employer. Shortly after his wife is injured in a car accident, an event that causes him to visit her unconscious form every night with flowers, he learns of the other world when he bumps into his counterpart, Howard Prime, an arrogant jock type who is contemptuous of him. The two are forced to cooperate as the two worlds are trying to work together at the highest levels to stamp out a conspiracy by plotters in Howard Prime's universe to avenge what they think that the original world perpetrated on them. Simmons gives one of his absolute best performances in a Hall of Fame career in portraying two characters that are very much opposite on the surface, with a common humanity that would seem surprising to both of them. And inevitably, in order to help expose the conspiracy, Howard Alpha and Howard Prime must impersonate each other, thus adding even more sublime layers to Simmons' acting tour de force. Number 3. The show is a fascinating twist on Cold War thrillers, updated for the modern day and provided with a sci-fi twist. Essentially, the show's creators have designed their own genre, one which is a mashup of other genres. That might sound a little bit unwieldy, but they really make it work. The cinematography, particularly in Howard Prime's slightly more primitive world, does indeed put you in mind of a throwback Cold War spy movie visually. But with the two sides being opposite worlds linked by a wormhole rather than merely competing countries, the stakes are higher and the action carries an extra amount of excitement infused by the unprecedented landscape. Number 2, for characters like the two Howards and Emilys, it's a fascinating take on the road not taken and how an alternate approach to life would have developed. Any person who was alive in 1987 has a counterpart in the second world that was created whose separate life began in that moment. So there's a shared history prior to 1987 for any such characters. Howard Alpha is a kind, unselfish man who is able to look past his wife's complicated life and secrets to love her unconditionally. Howard Prime devolved into a bitter man, but was the kind of assertive alpha male that his ironically named counterpart is not. He and Emily Prime, herself a government spy, divorced, although unlike their counterparts they had a child, one that Howard Alpha, feeling the void of being childless, grows attached to. For much of the season it seems that Emily Prime is more of a complicated figure than Emily Alpha, but this proves not to be the case. This show provides a look at the envy and contempt that characters can feel when they receive an explicit view of the path not traveled. Number 1, the blend of human stories and thriller, spy, and sci-fi elements makes for a unique and compelling viewing experience. There's never been anything quite like this program and all of the different elements of the storytelling. It's truly a shame that it has not received the acclaim that it deserves. There's clearly more than enough storytelling to get through Season 2 and quite possibly beyond. In the meantime, Season 1 was one of the greatest first runs that any show has ever had, and it's going to be wild to see where they go from here. Thank you for joining us for this mini episode of the FDH Lounge.
As we bring the show to a close, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, all Clear Channel affiliates, TNT, TBS, USA, UPN, Deadspin.com, YouTube.com, YTMND.com, MySpace.com, various blogs, Fox News, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, IamBoard.com, Billboard.com, Google.com, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPN Classic, NBA TV, NFL Network, Sports Time Ohio, Athlon Magazine, Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, The Boomerang Channel, QVC, BET, The Spice Channel, Steno Notebooks, Manwich, Papermate Office Supplies, waitresses, strippers, bartenders, garbage men, janitors, microwave popcorn, the writers of The Office, Scrubs, Entourage, My Name is Earl, Oz, Metalocalypse and the Boondocks, Aquafina, and the Periodic Table of Elements.